You've made it this far. That alone says something. Not everyone does. Imagine you're walking through the last stretch of a long winter, the kind that wears your bones thin. You've shoveled the driveways, paid the bills, showed up when no one else did. You've buried parts of yourself to keep the family together, smiled through silence, swallowed your pain to keep the peace. And now, here you are, older, wiser, worn, but still standing. But here's the part no one warns you about. Even when the storm passes, some people still come asking for more. Another favor, another loan, another family drama to mediate, another piece of yourself to give away. And when you say no, suddenly you're the problem, the ungrateful one, the selfish one. You're made to feel like the villain, for daring to draw a line that should have been there all along. You've carried too much for too long. And maybe it started out as love. Maybe you thought this was what good people do, hold it all together. But good doesn't mean obedient. Kind doesn't mean sacrificial. Loving doesn't mean losing yourself. There are people, sometimes the ones closest to you, who ask for things they should never ask. And it's not always with words. Sometimes it's with a sigh, a silence, a well-timed guilt trip. But the message is the same. Give me what you no longer have. They don't see the cost. They don't ask what it's taken from you. They just want more. But this video? This is your permission slip. To stop, to say no without apology, to step back from the edge and choose peace over performance. Because there are 5 things no one should ever ask of you again. Not now. Not anymore. You're not here to save them. You're here to reclaim yourself. Let's begin. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But for many of us, that privilege gets buried. Under duty, under guilt, under the never-ending weight of being everything for everyone. You weren't born to be an emotional pack mule. You didn't come into this world to be the fixer, the wallet, the peacekeeper, the default parent, the one who always has it together. But somewhere along the way, you became that. Not because you were weak, but because you were strong. Because it felt noble. Because that's what love was supposed to look like. Until it wasn't. Until you woke up one day and realized you're exhausted. Not from doing too much, but from carrying what was never yours to hold in the first place. Jung's psychology teaches us something that hits hard the older we get. People don't just see you. They project onto you. Their wounds, their fears, their unmet needs, their helplessness. And the more reliable you are, the more likely you become a screen for those projections. You become the caregiver, the rock, the one who'll never say no. And when they look at you, they don't see your tired hands. They see someone who can take a little more. But here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. Not every request comes from love. Some come from laziness, some from avoidance, and some come from wounds so deep, the only way they know how to survive is by handing off the pain to someone else and hoping you'll carry it. They won't say it out loud, but what they mean is, hold this for me because I refuse to. This is where the shadow lives. That unconscious part of people that refuses responsibility but demands support, that manipulates through tears, silence, or guilt, that dresses up dependency as love and calls your refusal selfish. But selfishness isn't the problem. Boundaries aren't the enemy. The real danger is self-abandonment, sacrificing your peace just to maintain someone else's comfort. Because here's the thing. The people who ask the most often give the least. They expect your time but not your truth. Your money but not your limits. Your presence but not your needs. And if you've spent decades trying to earn love by being useful, helpful, generous, you're not alone. That's the caregiver archetype. It's beautiful. It's necessary. But when you live there too long without balance, you slip into the martyr, the one who disappears so others can thrive. The one who gives until there's nothing left and still hears, "Why can't you do more?" You don't owe anyone your depletion, your silence, your savings, your health. You don't have to be the emotional shock absorber for grown adults who refuse to manage their own lives. You're not here to fix anyone anymore. You're here to become. This is what Jung called individuation. The sacred task of becoming a whole human, not a role, not a mask, not a projection, but a self. And you can't do that while carrying everyone else's baggage. Because what no one tells you is this. The people who keep asking for more will never tell you when it's time to stop. They'll never say, "Hey, I think you've done enough." That's your job. That's your rite of passage. You've earned the right to peace, not by accident, but through fire. Through every late night, every sacrifice, every time you swallowed your truth to keep the family from falling apart. But now the only thing falling apart is you. Quietly, invisibly. And that has to change. This next chapter of your life, it's not about proving anything, it's about protecting everything. Your time, your energy, your nervous system, your joy. Because if you don't protect it, no one will. Let's call this what it really is. You've been conditioned to mistake exhaustion for devotion. To think that being needed is the same as being loved. It's not. Love doesn't ask you to disappear. Love doesn't hand you its mess and walk away. Love doesn't punish you for having boundaries. And the people who get angry when you say no, those are the very people who benefited from your silence. But not anymore. You're not here to carry this forever. You're not here to spend your final decades cleaning up emotional spills from people who never learned to hold their own cups. This video isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. You've spent enough years apologizing for your needs, enough years explaining your no, enough years choosing their comfort over your own clarity. It ends here. Because from this point on, you're not just protecting your time, you're protecting your soul. Let's name the 5 things you must never allow again. Not because you don't care, but because you finally care about yourself. Let's go. 1. Being asked to take responsibility for what isn't yours. It always starts small. Can you help just this once? I don't know what to do without you. I knew you'd figure it out. You always do. And just like that, you're in it again. Carrying someone else's mess like it has your name on it. Their mistake becomes your emergency. Their avoidance becomes your job. And before you even know what happened, your own needs are buried under someone else's irresponsibility. It might be your grown child calling because the rent's late, again. A sibling who never got it together, but somehow it's still your fault. A friend who's made the same mistake for the 10th time and now needs you to bail them out, again. You don't even pause anymore. You just move. You fix. You absorb. Because that's what you've always done. But here's the truth, and it's gonna sting a little. Responsibility is sacred, and giving it to someone who refuses to carry their own is spiritual theft. They hand you the load. You carry it with love. But they were never planning to take it back. This is the archetype of the hero turned into the martyr. You became the savior, not because they needed rescuing, but because it distracted you from the painful truth. No one ever rescued you. And when you live in that pattern long enough, your compassion gets hijacked by guilt. You say yes because you love them. But real love has limits. Because when someone asks you to carry what's not yours and you agree, you're not helping them grow. You're helping them hide. That's not love. That's codependence dressed in kindness. The longer you carry what doesn't belong to you, the more your own life disappears behind it. You end up holding a rope that's fraying in the middle. And when it snaps, it doesn't just hurt you. It takes down everything you've tried to protect. So next time someone says, ask yourself,